It was 1999, and I guess the big stories in movies was Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and The Sixth Sense. But probably one of the biggest stories to come out of 1999 was about a little film that came out of nowhere and became a phenomenon. That phenomenon being the Blair Witch Project. It's been, 17 years since the Blair Witch Project took the world by storm. A little film that basically started out as a marketing campaign on the internet, and then when the film came out, it just took the world by storm. In that film, a group of student filmmakers ventured into Burkittsville, the woods around Burkittsville, Maryland, to find and discover the truth behind the Blair Witch legend, hence the Blair Witch Project. Now that movie came ahead and was basically a divisive film, where either you liked it or you hated it. As for me, I liked it quite a bit and thought it was a pretty effective little thriller. And that was followed up by Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2, which got meta. And here we are in 2016, where out of nowhere, a little film called The Woods was going to have its premiere at San Diego Comic-Con. And then and there, it was announced that this isn't The Woods. This is the new Blair Witch. Blair Witch is the sequel, directed by Adam Wingard and written by Simon Barrett, his frequent collaborator. I just came from a party. And they have turned out a pretty effective sequel to the Blair Witch Project. Now, this is a direct sequel, and I guess one of the great benefits is that, yes, it's been almost 17 years since the first one. You really don't need to see the first two films in the franchise in order to get into the Blair Witch. I mean, it's essentially, yes, a reboot in many ways, but also a direct sequel. And it works both of them quite well. It still covers the same territory that we're familiar with from the first. Wingard keeps the same aesthetic, where it's basically shaky cam, and in the darkness, and you as an audience member become a participant as you're trying to, you yourself, even though you know it's a movie, you're trying to peer into the dark, trying to see what you can't see, and you start getting on edge, wondering, is there something out there? Am I seeing things? And then something happens, and that tension is released. That is essentially what goes on throughout Blair Witch. And I really enjoyed Blair Witch. I thought it was, like I said, a very effective sequel / reboot. I know that a lot of the complaints about the original Blair Witch was that it was just drawn out, and it didn't really have anything going for it until the final few minutes of the film, and you don't really see anything. It's all in your mind. Did I see anything? And then essentially, no, you never really saw anything. You've heard things, and you think you saw things, but you never really definitively saw anything. So Wingard and Barrett basically take the same approach, still work in the same motif that the original filmmakers did, and amped it up using modern technology, modern camera work, like Bluetooth cameras and drones and the like. And they basically expand the mythos of the Blair Witch and amp up the tension. Unlike many horror films in the last year or so, I actually found myself on edge. Not so much because I was like terrified or anything like that, but in fear of what could be out there. I felt like I was going through a maze, a haunted maze, at like, say, Halloween Horror Nights or something like that. And basically, I'm wondering what's around every corner, and I can't see what's ahead of me. I'm like, it's scaring me. I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? And that's essentially what this is. It's basically an amusement park ride, and it's actually quite a lot of fun, and pretty effective. And I guess the only real complaint I could have about it is the fact that the original was great because it really didn't show you anything. You wonder, is there something there? But here, Wingard teases you with there was something there. Was there something there? You saw something. There was definitely something that manifested there, or was there? And there's a lot of that throughout. But unlike the original, once darkness hits, and which is probably the last third of the film, that's when the tension mounts and the horror begins. And it's a pretty enjoyable, for me, it was a pretty enjoyable horror film. Something I can't really say too often about any horror film I've seen this year. So Blair Witch, I would give 4 stars. I'm going to give Blair Witch 4 stars out of 5. A very effective reboot sequel to a 17-year-old film that launched the FAW documentaries, and that and the found footage shaky cam genre really took off with that movie. Not to say that movies like Cannibal Ferox or Cannibal Holocaust didn't start that, but really in 1999, that's when it blew up. And here we are, 17 years later, and we're at it again. Blair Witch, 4 stars out of 5. If you like this review, hit that like button below. We're looking forward to the Blair Witch. Did you know that there was a Blair Witch 3? Please comment below and let me know. I'm curious to find out. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews, trailer reactions, and retro reviews, and any other fun things I happen to put up on my channel. So until next time, stay out of the woods.